Sometimes I wonder if it's worth the effort to make these videos. And then every time I think that about a video I'm making, that usually turns out to be the one that gets a whole bunch of hits. This video here is on flush and brake fluid. This is on a 2017 X3. This is the F25 series with the N20 engine. And side note, if you ever wondered which engine you have, it should be up here, and you see right there, that's how you know what motor you have, or what engine. Sorry, purists get mad when you say the wrong word. The whole point of this video is to show you don't have to go to BMW or even an indie shop to do it. A handful of tools, only one set really specialized. You can get, it's a 95% solution, all right? My viewpoint on all of this stuff is it's just a car. I love BMWs as much as you do if you're watching it. But to me, it is and will always be just a car. That being said, I have already flushed the brake fluid out of the driver's side and the passenger side rear wheel. I've got this one up here left to do on the passenger side front. So the quick rundown is I use the Motive Products pressure bleeder, and I don't put any fluid in here. I use this just to pressurize the master cylinder. This is the Motive Products aluminized cap for European cars. It's 1109 is the part number. After every wheel that I flush the fluid out of, with no pressure on the master cylinder, I come in here and I hit the brake pedal twice. You can do it 3 times. Once is probably all it needs, because I have found over time that helps the flow on each successive wheel as you're going. If you don't hit the brakes and, I don't know, reset whatever in the master cylinder, the flow gets less and less and less every wheel that you open up, no matter what pressure you have on the system. So whatever pressing the brake pedal does for the master cylinder or the seals in there kind of resets it unless the flow come back through. I use just regular Prestone .4. Any .4 is going to be fine. Don't overthink it. You're going to screw this cap on here. You're going to tighten this up, and I'm going to pressurize this to about 8 or 9 psi. It's really hard to show this without dropping something. There you can see the pressure climbing. Let's go to 9. Okay, there we are. About 8. Plenty. Of course, jack your car up, take the wheel off. None of this is rocket science. Peel these things back. If these aren't on there, you need to get some and put them on there, because that's the only thing that keeps those bleeders from getting rusted over, if you live in the Rust Belt anyway. So you take your little catch can here, slide that guy over, and with your ever trusty 11 millimeter wrench, yes, an 11. I know what you're thinking. It should be a 10, but it's not. Loosen that up, and you see the flow. And you can see how it's kind of yellow there. I'm going to pause, come back when it starts flowing clear. Okay, by now you should be able to see a difference there. It's much clearer than it was. You can see our bottle is much fuller than it was. Don't worry about the bubbles. It's just bubbles coming in around where you've slid your hose on up there. And while that's doing its thing, I always take this time to, look over the brakes and whatnot. See how much pad life I got left. Probably another 10,000 or so on these. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Once you're, and that's really clear now. Once you're satisfied that you've, got the fluid pushed out, let's go ahead and close up this bleeder. And we'll call this wheel done. Now I know what some of you are saying right now. Oh, but what about the ABS modules and, this, that, and the other thing? And man, here's my opinion. If you're watching this, you're probably a DIY person anyway. Don't worry about it. I know you can get a laptop and use ISTA and activate the ABS motors that way and things. If that's your cup of tea, go ahead and do it. I just need to get the new fluid through there. What I do, this is what I have been doing on my cars for 2 decades now, is after I get done with this, I'll go out to a country road or somewhere with some grass or something like that, get a little speed, hit the brakes, and activate the anti-lock system. It's a good check for it anyway to see if it's actually working, and it's going to push the fluid through. It's going to push the fluid through those valves, get it mixed in with the rest of the fluid. When you go to do this in the next 2 years anyway, like you should be doing, you're going to get rid of all that stuff anyhow. So just as long as you keep the fluid moving through the system and it doesn't just sit there, I have never had an ABS module go out on anything that I have ever owned long term. Never. And that's the system I use. That is your call. Your mileage may vary. Now the last thing we do after here is fill this up. You reset the service indicator on there, and that's it. Don't overthink it. Just flush the fluid through there, and you're good. And enjoy driving your car. Thanks for watching.